Prime Minister Modi addresses post-budget webinar on vision of Gati Shakti, says current year's budget set Gati Shakti of India's development in 21st century. Prime Minister Gati Shakti is a remarkable initiative aiming to drive down logistics costs, says Union Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri in NE Zonal Conference. Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat chairs Regional Conference of Ministers of Northeastern States in Guwahati. Over 75% of voters turnout registered in first phase of Manipur Assembly election. And Union Minister of State for Health, Dr. Bharati Pravin Pawar, interacts with Mizoram's Health Department officials. A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin. This is Sangeeta Bhattacharjee bringing to you the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Union Budget 2022-23 has laid a roadmap for development of India of 21st century. Addressing a webinar on the vision of Gati Shakti and its convergence with Union Budget 2022, the Prime Minister said that the development based on infrastructure will further the growth of economy of the country and open new opportunities of employment. He added that Prime Minister Gati Shakti is the biggest requirement for the country. Comparing the direct capital expenditure, Mr. Modi said that the direct capital expenditure, which was to the tune of around 1.75 lakh crore rupees during 2013-14, has grown by around 4 times to 7.5 lakh crore rupees in 2022-23.
गति शक्ति निर्धारित कर दी है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर आधारित विकास की यह दिशा हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था के सामर्थ्य में असाधारण वृद्धि करेगी। इससे देश में रोजगार की भी अनेक संभावनाएं बनेगी। पीएम गति शक्ति के कारण अब हर कोई पूरी जानकारी के बीच अपनी योजना बना पाएगा।
Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri, while addressing the Northeast Zonal Conference on Prime Minister Gati Shakti in Guwahati today, said Prime Minister Gati Shakti is a remarkable initiative aiming to drive down logistics costs. The minister said the Government of India has developed a comprehensive plan to integrate all the existing and proposed development initiatives by way of Prime Minister Gati Shakti National Master Plan. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma in his speech said that Prime Minister Gati Shakti initiatives will give a big boost to infrastructural development in entire northeastern region. Ministers and officials of other northeastern states as well as central government agencies also participated in the conference.
Quite apart from the current developments taking place on account of exacerbation of tension and military action in Russia and Ukraine, the fact of the matter is that we are a growing economy. Last year, the economy grew at 9.2%. Our per capita consumption of energy is 1/3 of the global average, but it is growing. So with an 85% dependence on imports for crude and 50% on gas, I think we can do no better. The greatest service we can do for our economy is to increase the area under exploration and production, which we have regrettably neglected in previous decades. And I see Assam, Northeast and the states of the Northeast as the key to that future.
Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has chaired a regional conference of ministers of the Public Health Engineering Department, Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Department of the Northeastern states in Guwahati today. The regional mission had focused on important issues pertaining to implementation of Jal Jeevan Mission and Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Addressing the event, Shekhawat stressed on the sustainability of the water supply projects under Jal Jeevan Mission. He said Government of India is working with speed and scale in the last 7 years to ensure provision of 100% tap water supply in every rural household, following the principle that no one is left out, keeping in line with the vision of Honorable Prime Minister's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. Over 75% of voter turnout was registered till 6 p.m. in the first phase of assembly polls in Manipur held today. 38 of the state's 60 assembly constituencies voted amid tight security in Manipur. The first phase of poll covers 29 seats in Manipur's valley districts Imphal West, Imphal East and Bishnupur. In the first phase of election, ruling BJP has been facing electoral challenges from main opposition Congress. Besides, the BJP and the Congress National People Party is also in fray, this time contesting in 38 seats. The United Nations will hold emergency session of General Assembly today to discuss Russia's military operations in Ukraine. United Nations General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid will preside over the 11th emergency special session of the General Assembly at the UN headquarters in New York later tonight. The UN Security Council voted last night to hold the special emergency session of UNGA. India abstained from voting on the resolution. Russia voted against it and 11 UNSC members voted in favor of it. Given the vote was procedural, no country had a veto and the resolution was adopted. China and the United Arab Emirates also abstained. 4 cabinet ministers, Hardeep Singh Puri, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Kiran Rijiju and General V.K. Singh are to travel to neighbouring countries of Ukraine to coordinate the evacuation mission and help students. Our correspondent reports these ministers will be going as special envoys of India. Scindia will look at Romania and Moldova, Rijiju will go to Slovakia, Hardeep Singh Puri will go to Hungary and General V.K. Singh will be at Poland to manage the evacuation of stranded Indians in Ukraine. Immediately on his return from Uttar Pradesh, Prime Minister held a high-level meeting yesterday on the Ukraine issue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the government will do whatever possible to bring back all the citizens stranded in Ukraine. Today is National Science Day. The day is celebrated every year on 28th February to commemorate the discovery of the Raman effect. On this day, Indian physicist Sir C.V. Raman announced the discovery of the Raman effect, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1930. In 1986, Government of India designated 28th February as National Science Day. On the occasion, Prime Minister Modi in a tweet greeted all scientists and science enthusiasts. The day is aimed at spreading the message of importance of science and its application in human life. This year, the theme of the National Science Day is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for Sustainable Future. On the occasion, theme-based science communication activities are carried out all over the country. And now it's time for a short break. We will be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Come on boys, let's go practice.
अरे रुक यार, मेरे बैंक अकाउंट में गलत एंट्री का प्रॉब्लम हो गया है।
अरे तो बैंक को कंप्लेन करना।
बैंक को लिखे 1 महीना हो गया है, बट वो गूगली पे गूगली डाले जा रहा है।
तो आरबीआई के बैंकिंग लोकपाल को इन्फॉर्म करो।
रुक, मैं समझाता हूँ। जैसे क्रिकेट में थर्ड अंपायर, वैसे ही आरबीआई का बैंकिंग ओम्बुड्समैन। आरबीआई कहता है, अगर बैंक आपकी कंप्लेंट को 1 महीने में नहीं सुलझाता, तो आप आरबीआई के कंप्लेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम पर ऑनलाइन कंप्लेंट कर सकते हैं। ये आरबीआई का आसान तरीका है आपकी कंप्लेंट सुलझाने का, और वो भी फ्री।
आरबीआई कहता है, जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Welcome back. In Mizoram, the Union Minister of State for Health, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, on Monday had a meeting with officials of the Lone Medical College, Zoram Medical College, and the state's health officials on her maiden visit to the state. She was apprised of the different infrastructural development in the health sector, institutional development and COVID status of the state. Zoram Medical College Director reported that 75% building and overall construction underway in the Lone Medical College is completed. The Union Minister of State asked the officials to complete the works done as soon as possible.
That I have already given from Health Ministry.
Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu today chaired the monthly monitoring meeting called Arunachal E-Pragati at the State Secretariat. The Chief Minister evaluated the progress of essential central and state government initiatives and schemes being implemented across the state. The meeting also discussed the issue of installation of 4G mobile towers under USOF to cover 1,638 villages in the state. Roadmap for implementation of drone technology and status of Miao Vijayanagar Road were also discussed in the monthly E-Pragati meeting. The 28th Naga Wrestling Championship and 2nd Under-16 Naga Wrestling Championship Meet 2022 was held today at Kochizi, Kohima Local Ground, Kohima. State Chief Minister Nefurio, who is also the President Nagaland Olympic Association, graced the wrestling meet as the special guest. In his speech, Nefurio said that the wrestling is one of the biggest sporting events in the state and urged the people to promote it to other non-participating tribes, and for which he assured government support to provide training. He also pointed out the ideas behind the Nagaland State Sports Battalion to encourage and promote sports and opportunity and employment for the sports persons. In Meghalaya, the Institute of Hotel Management Shillong has been encouraging youth to embrace startup initiative. Here is a story on startup initiatives in Meghalaya.
Accordingly to the course, like it is a fund of the ministry. It is a free course training program. Like for entrepreneur, we have one training program, and if it's not entrepreneur, we have SSRT. That's also the free course training program.
In this training program, the students do not have to pay anything. They don't have to give any admission fees or any type of fees. So what they will get back is 1,000 rupees as stipend, and they are getting their lunch on duty, and apart from that also they are getting their course materials. So it is very good for them because we have come across their success stories where they have start their own business.
And to end the news, the main points once again. Prime Minister Modi addresses post-budget webinar on vision of Gati Shakti, says current year's budget set Gati Shakti of India's development in 21st century. Prime Minister's Gati Shakti is a remarkable initiative aiming to drive down logistics costs, says Union Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri in any zonal conference. Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat chairs a regional conference of ministers of northeastern states in Guwahati. Over 75% voter turnout registered in first phase of Manipur Assembly election. And Union Minister of State for Health Dr. Bharati Praveen Pawar interacts with Mizoram's Health Department officials. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.